Hey everybody, one last time here from Gillette Stadium tonight. I'm Scott Barboza. We got John Sarianidis once again, and of course my co-editor, my compadre, my comrade, Brandon Hall, once again putting a nice big bow on all the 6 Super Bowls played here at Gillette tonight and the 19 played across the state here today. Let's rewind the clock to 9 a.m. this morning, which is a very long time ago, and look at Boston Cathedral. A team that obviously we know what happened with Matt Owens last year and all that drama there. But, man, Keontae Hickman, this is going to be a kid to watch for some time to come.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at his numbers, 46 carries, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns. Those numbers are amazing to me, particularly when you think about the fact that he's a quarterback. But like I said earlier this morning, Siggs had a game plan. He stuck with it. He didn't panic. Madison Park got a couple of breaks. They hung around. But I thought Cathedral did a great job of executing what they wanted to do, and the end result was they win it in double overtime.
I mean, the story was Keontae Hickman. As much as we had news before the game that you got a guy, Kid Edge, who's 6'4", and he's got a 5'7" kid on him. Take advantage of that mismatch. It's snowy conditions out. You got to run the ball. You got 10-minute quarters, and that's probably the thing that messes me most. 46 carries in 10-minute quarters. Okay, he's running. It seemed like every time he pulled the ball, there was a seam open somewhere in this half of the field or that half of the field, wherever he was going, and he was able to tough it out. But you look at him; he's hobbling. He's got a bad shoulder. He's really just gritting it out, and that's a testament to willpower, and that's a testament to the coaching staff for kind of reinforcing that. We were here yesterday to watch them doing walkthroughs in a parking lot outside the Renaissance Hotel at Patriot Place. Well, it's a crazy story, which you'll see later on in the next few days. But hats off to Dwayne Sigsbury, one of the best football minds in Eastern Mass, in my opinion. Finally getting the big one. He was involved in a collapse here 2 years ago as the offensive coordinator at Reading, obviously last year, and finally gets a big one, and couldn't happen to a better guy. Yeah,
and then we had the 2 real heavyweight tilts sandwiched in the middle here. First off, Everett, Barnstable, obviously we know what went on there. Beverly, Natick, another close game. I mean, we definitely got our money's worth here at Gillette. I mean, really all these games were in contention to the very last moments here all day long. But let's step back and go to Everett. We talk about, the 3 straight, Super Bowl winning seasons coming in here. Not the best game I think either team played. But I thought what was interesting is John DiBiase in his post-game remarks said that he thought Barnstable played better today than they did in the last game when they beat them. And, man, when we get and sit down and take a look at our top 25 poll, we're going to have a little bit of a conundrum at the top of the board there. I mean, you talk about St. John's Prep convincingly winning in their Division I matchup against Brockton tonight. But let's take a look at Everett. This has been a team that really all year has been galvanized by the defense, and I thought they played one of their finer games here tonight.
Yeah, I thought so, especially when you look at the fact that Everett turned the ball over 5 times. They were sloppy. They committed several key penalties in key situations that cost them, but their defense bailed them out. But I also think that they made enough plays on offense to win this game. You look at Jakari Washington. He had a great game. He had the long 53-yard touchdown. And whenever they needed a first down and they needed to keep the chains moving and they needed to keep Nick Peabody and company off the field, they did it. It wasn't their cleanest win. They probably had much better wins, especially in this run of the last 3 years. But at the end of the day, their defense was a catalyst, and they put them in a position to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah. People are going to look back on this game and talk about Kenny Collage's interception to seal it at the end of the game and what he's been through this year, hobbled by the ankle sprain. He's had limited action all year, and finally coming in and getting the big one in the most crucial moment. But the other key play I thought really catalyzed this Everett defense today was that pick 6, and that was sparked by C.J. Parvelis, one of the more underrated linebackers we've covered this year. Coming up the A-gap, as you know, when those linebackers show A-gap blitz, even if they're not coming up, that's going to force the center to make some checks. And there's really no easy way to block that. You can slide, you can squeeze, you can do, but there's no real easy way to do it. So that changed a lot of things, and obviously at that point in the game, I think you get the crowd on you. I think everyone from Hyannis showed up today. You get the crowd here. You got a really aggressive defensive front. Maybe they got a little flustered and they ran it back, but they bounced back nicely. And what a game by Tadaro France. That's the thing I'm going to remember about this. When you talk about kids making a statement as an all-state player, which will come out on Tuesday, I think that kid cemented it. today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've always said throughout the year, he's the team MVP. He's the guy that they thrive off of offensively, defensively. I mean, he just really does everything, carries the water buckets out practically. But let's take a look at this Beverly performance here tonight. Obviously, it goes down right to the wire. You almost have a second, Flutie magic moment, nearly from the same point.
That was really
46-yard line, 48-yard line with his uncle down in Miami all those years ago. But Beverly, first undefeated season since 1891, doing some serious history racking there. This is a team, when we talked about it post game with them the last time they were here. They were a 500 football team, and they sneak up on Somerset. They pull one out. This time they come in. They're an undefeated team, and I think we still, thought Natick had, a real puncher's chance in that game. But Beverly really just came out with Brendan Flaherty, and just again, as we've seen from them all season long, just being able to really punch teams in the mouth.
Yeah, I thought from a physicality standpoint, they were the most impressive team I've seen this year. I was really impressed with the way they ran the football. Their wing tee, to me, is as good a wing tee as you're going to see. They rushed for 347 yards. They were able to set the tone early. Brendan Flaherty, to me, is an impressive two-way player. You talk about a kid that lays it on the line. I mean, you look at it, he is a workhorse for them. Yeah, Pierce and White, they're a nice change of pace and they can get to the perimeter, but he's the tone setter in their running game, and I thought he was awesome tonight. And then defensively, he did a great job filling the alley. I thought collectively on the defensive side of the ball, they did a great job on Brian Dunlap. They bracketed him, they were physical with him, they rerouted him, and they took Natick out of what they really wanted to do. However, I will say this, in defense of our league, I thought Natick did a great job hanging around, and they made enough plays when they needed to. That's a testament to Troy Flutie. That's the type of player he is. But to me, in the end, Natick wasn't used to seeing this type of offense in our league. I mean, Braintree runs the wing tee, but they don't run it that effectively. It's new to them. And I don't think that they saw a team in our league as physical as Beverly.
Yeah, and just to build on that, I mean, we all knew what Brendan Flaherty is capable as a running back, what all these guys are capable as running back. Kenny Pierce got banged up a little bit, but Don Mabate, they really convinced me today about what a terrific back seven this is.
Yeah.
It starts at safety with Flaherty.
Yep.
We mentioned about Dunlap, and he had a terrific touchdown catch there, that double move, setting the guy up on the outside, going on the slant across the goal line, and that really set the tone early. But Beverly, I mean, they were laying sticks on people. We saw it all day. Kenny Pierce had a great stick on a kid in the flat. Brendan Flaherty, I lost count. I mean, that was really one of the best, gang tackling, swarming defenses that I've seen all year. We mentioned about some of the other dominant defenses around the state. We talk about Reading. We saw Neshoba here earlier. That's right up there with the best of them. Walpole, Auburn, you name it. I mean, that was very impressive, and I think we kind of overlooked that with all the talk of all the wing tee and all the three-headed monster.
Yeah, and when looking at Brendan Flaherty's performance too, by my tally, 3 passes defensed, and obviously the one that having the presence of mind, again, as we've seen throughout this year in the NFL and Monday Night Football, knock the ball down, son. And he had the presence of mind to do so. And I thought he played really great, as we mentioned, in that back seven was, I think, phenomenal all day long.
Absolutely.
Brendan, I'll pose this one to you because we mentioned it just a moment ago. Top 25 poll is going to be very interesting, I think, with those top 3 teams, how we kind of, with Everett, Barnstable, 1-1 there, a 1-point game here, an overtime game. But St. John's Prep, again, we've talked to so many people in the state this year, and they've really believed that St. John's Prep is the #1 team. And seeing what they did tonight against Brockton, what's our debate there?
I'll tell you what, I don't think there's really any question that Everett finishes season #1. You just have to look at the head-to-head there in week 4 or 5, I forget which week it was. But Barnstable, I don't think they are going to drop too much either. I mean, they have nothing to hang their heads about. They go into Everett's house in the pouring rain. I can't recall the last time. I think it was St. John's Prep 4 years ago. Last time Everett lost in their house, and Barnstable comes in on a really really bad condition night and wins in double overtime. They come here and we're honestly a drop touchdown, home run touchdown pass. He had him beat, and a missed extra point. We're 2 plays away from Barnstable running back to the Cape, celebrating until God knows when. So you really can't punish them too much for that. I think where it gets interesting is the debate about Neshoba and Auburn and Brockton and Reading too. I think Reading made a great statement.
Acquitted themselves very nicely.
Acquitted
tonight.
themselves very nicely. But you wonder about Auburn and show with the strengths of schedule. That's going to be a big debate there because both teams are dominant against their competition. Natick, Beverly, where do you put those guys? Springfield Central. There's some real storybook stuff there.
27-0 shutout tonight.
Cody Williams looked like he hurt his ankle pretty bad. Comes back and leads the team to victory and a shutout victory at that. And you got a lot of stuff. And then Leominster putting a nice one on St. John's of Shrewsbury. They're going to have to bounce back in the poll here. They might take a big leap here, considering who they hung against and how these teams are in the end. Brockton, Everett, etc. So we're going to have some spirited debate here for no question.
Now, John, we were talking about this a little bit up in the press box before. Let's turn the page a little bit and look towards next year. A lot of the familiar faces that we see here tonight will be very prevalent in next year, going into next season. But maybe a couple things, Bay State oriented across the state that you'll be looking for going ahead.
Well, I think to me, when you look at that Natick team, it's scary how many of those guys are back. I mean, that entire skill group is back, and to me, they're the favorites in the Herget. They're the favorites in the league, and and we talked about this, I think that they're a top 5 team in the state. Certainly when you look at Barnstable, they're going to have some guys back. Everett is Everett. They'll reload. They always do. And even Bishop Fien next year with the realignment, they'll be Division III. They have a couple guys coming back, including the Douglas kid tonight, who I thought acquitted himself very well. So I think that there are a lot of teams here tonight that not only won a championship, but they also set the foundation for next year. But I think the one team to me that really sticks out is Natick. When you look at what they have back, and for what it's worth, they don't need to be great up front, because with that skill and that quarterback, they're going to win a lot of football games.
Can I make a bold prediction here? Next year, this time, Natick will be on this turf.
There you go.
Natick will be on this turf playing for a state championship.
As a state champion, perhaps.
Fighting for a state championship. I'm not going to go that far.
Okay.
But you look at St. John's Prep, Jonathan Thomas, a Mr. Football finalist for us this year, and I think he's the odds-on favorite next year. No disrespect to anybody else. Everett, as you mentioned, reload. Springfield Central, you saw what they did this year. That is a powder keg. I've said it all along, and they finally prove it this year. Valdemar Brow has got that program going up. Yep. You look at St. John's Shrewsbury. Andrew Smiley comes back after a record-setting year up in Central Mass. Barnstable graduates a lot of skill, obviously, but Hayden Murphy, absolutely on a short list for Mr. Football contenders, I think, next year. There's a lot of interesting talent coming around. In the lower divisions, this Cathedral team, Kajante Hickman, the sophomore,
very good.
I mean, they got a ton of talent coming back too. Fien, we mentioned them. Isaiah Douglas, really looking forward to seeing what he's doing in the future. We know Brockton will be back. We know Zavarian, BC High, they'll be back. CM should be a little bit better next year. People were kind of rattling the cage about Cambridge and all their skill players coming back. 2013 can't start soon enough because I'm really anxious to see how this state playoff system works out, because we're going to have a lot of fun with this, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's going to be obviously a little bit different next year. This is the last year that we have these Super Bowls spread out all over the place. We'll be able to consolidate everything. Hopefully, I think everybody will enjoy it a lot more down the stretch. Everybody will be playing, even the teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs, they'll be playing for a reason too. And I think Thanksgiving Day is going to maintain its integrity. We haven't talked too much about the playoff system lately, but let's again just make one more kind of look ahead here. And when we're at this point next year with the new playoff system coming in, how do you guys feel we'll look at that year, being 2013, and look at how that playoff system worked in its first year of inception?
Well, I think when you get into the playoffs, we'll appreciate it, because we're finally going to be able to crown a true division champion in every division. The question is, and this is really the Coaches Association, athletic directors, and principals, the question is, how's the scheduling going to work? I look at us, for example, and we've got to go out and find 2 games next year. That has never happened in our league in recent history, so that's a change. What's the scheduling going to look like at the back end of the season if you're not in the playoffs? On the other hand, I think it opens the door for a lot of programs like us and programs that want that opportunity, that if they can find a way to win 5 or 6 games, you can get a chance to compete for a state title by getting into the playoffs. So I think in totality, it's a great thing. It's a tremendous thing. I think you made a great point, Scott. I don't think Thanksgiving is going to lose as much as people think. Those games will still mean something. Trust me, they mean something to the communities. They'll mean something to the kids.
I got a text message after the vote was put in, about 5 minutes after the vote went in. Welcome to the 21st century. This is what 90% of America does. Okay, they have state championships. Bigger states than us, Ohio, Pennsylvania, etc. They're able to have state championships. Florida. Texas. I mean, they're playing the state championships at like professional stadiums, and it's like the biggest deal in town. You know, and I think the potential for this thing is could far exceed anyone's expectations.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at the attendance here, and it was kind of hit or miss. Beverly really packed it. It was Leominster-like,
Yep.
the way they packed it.
Yep.
Barnstable brought a huge caravan.
Yep.
Natick did. But you also saw some other crowds that maybe weren't so big. And you know, people talking about, well, it's the fair thing to do. But you know what? There's a lot of teams that are kind of playing from behind the ball. They get a chance. And you know, when has more playoff teams ever been a detriment?
Yeah.
Doesn't it make it more fun?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I really look forward to seeing what teams do. And you know, there's still going to be great regular season matches. There's still going to be great non-league rivalries. There's still going to be great Thanksgiving rivalries. It won't have much of an effect. Maybe people see a fluctuation in gate receipt. I don't know. I'm not an administrator. I can't really speak for those things. But this right here, playing for a true state championship on the hallowed ground here of the New England Patriots, I don't know. If I'm a high school kid, that's pretty cool. And Thanksgiving is nice, but if I'm a high school kid, I'd rather play here.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, this is going to somewhat put a wrap on our football coverage for this year. But of course, a reminder that Mr. Football comes out on Monday, All-State team on Tuesday, and of course our players of the year, linemen, defensive, offensive, all that good stuff still to come. But of course, I'd like to thank John Sarianidis again for braving it all day long.
Thank you, guys.
A tremendous job breaking down on the live chat and with these video installments, obviously, and also Steve Dembowski for stopping by earlier. But I also want to take this moment to thank everybody that Brennan and I know we get a lot of the credit for what everything happens here, or detriment, I suppose. Yeah. But the people who really make our site work. One guy behind the camera, Greg Story, been stepping up huge this year with the video, doing a great job. Check out his stuff as always. And of course, our stable of writers who I quite frankly put on parallel with anybody. I'll put them
go to bat for them
any
any day.
Absolutely. But I think for now, if we got nothing else left, all we got to do is maybe get a little bit of shut-eye, you think?
I think I'm going to sleep a little bit, but we got basketball tomorrow, so.
Hockey Jamboree.
Yeah.
Sunday, we'll see you in Marlboro.
I'll be out of scrimmages tomorrow afternoon.
So tweet at us, of course. We don't stop, and we're going to keep coming. For John, for Brennan, Scott Barboza, until next time, we'll see you on ESPNBoston.com.